Yoshi is cute. He reminds me of bongo drums. He reminds me of a beautifully shaped ice cream on a hot summer day. He's always there to help, and frankly, his help is greatly appreciated. He is Mario's greatest companion. But can he replace him? Michael Vsauce here. Can Yoshis dominate the human race? This is a very good question, and a question that no one ever dared to ask before, but today, this all changes. Today is your lucky day because I am going to answer this goddamn question. In order to fully digest the scope of the Yoshi's capabilities, we're going to dissect their traits into categories to help come to a decisive conclusion on whether they could take over humanity, starting with their origin, biology, and gender, then diving more into their personality and how they interpret the world around them, to the society of Yoshis and how well they communicate with each other, before we end with a theory of my own on how the Yoshis might possibly be trying to undermine the Mushroom Kingdom's government right under our noses. Yoshi
Okie dokie.
is a bit of a broad term, because Yoshi is the name of both the species and a distinguished character of the species. So this is Yoshi, but at the same time, he's a Yoshi. Yoshi is from an island very conveniently called Yoshi's Island. Chronologically, the first appearance was in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, when a bird was delivering baby Mario and baby Luigi to their parents, and a future-telling foreseeing motherfucker struck them, kidnapping Luigi and leaving Mario to fall in, you guessed it, Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's gender is a very confusing topic. He is considered male in most regions, but the creator of Super Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, said that he's not sure if he's considered male or female. It was a bit ambiguous, and he fed this ambiguity. And frankly, the games don't help because they never really use gender pronouns when referring to Yoshi or any other character. Yoshi decides to talk to his friends. Yoshi heads back to the other Yoshis, but Yoshi can't figure it out. On very rare occasions that Yoshi has dialogue, such as in the Japanese version of Super Mario World. During his rescue in that game, he uses the Japanese masculine pronoun, which I can't pronounce.
僕
So I guess it makes more sense of him to be a him. Yoshi's biology, on the other hand, is less of a controversial topic. He's a dinosaur. But here's the cool part. According to Mario's wiki, initially Yoshi was a bit different. He was longer, he was more narrow. He had a bit of a hunched appearance with shorter arms. But when we get to see him, that's not the case. He has more of a sturdy build, a more upright posture with a bigger head and longer arms. So he has evolved to be more anthropomorphic over the years. And I'm sorry that I just used that word. And funny enough, when we get to see him after he has biologically evolved, he was living on Yoshi's Island. And that name alone implies that there is a society of Yoshis, and that they have become intelligent enough and capable of cooperating together and build such a place. I like to think that that's not a coincidence, but rather a reflection of their biological evolution and proof of it. And that leads us into the second category. The mere existence of Yoshi's Island is enough proof of a society of Yoshis, but I want to focus more on something else. In the game Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, when Mario lands on Yoshi, right after that the Yoshis gather to see what they're going to do with him. It seems like a peaceful gathering with all the Yoshis communicating together, until Mario gives them a sense of direction. Yoshi responds almost instantly on how they're going to help Mario reach his destination, and they all agree to follow suit right away. Each Yoshi finishes a level and then passes Mario on to the next Yoshi, and so on and so forth. And never once do you see a Yoshi complaining or coming up with ideas on his own. It's almost as if all of them are connected to a hive mind of some sort. They all work in favor of the group, kind of like an army. Now, the reason I'm saying all of that is because if we are trying to figure out if another species can dominate humanity, we would want to know if they have the capability of organizing their strengths in the most effective way. And with what I said, it seems like they can, right? But how can you say that when you haven't heard the rest of what I want to say? You already jump to conclusions. I don't like that about you. In the game Super Mario Sunshine, specifically in Peanut Park, if you talk to this little guy right here, he'd tell you that the Yoshis used to roam this island freely, but now they're gone. Which in turn means something very fucking important. Delfino Island, which is the place that Super Mario Sunshine is set in, is Yoshi's Island. You get what I'm saying? We're crossing the T's. We're dotting the I's. If Delfino Island was Yoshi's Island back in the day, with no old Yoshis still roaming around, just a newly hatched one every time you visit, that means that the place was taken from them by the current residents of Delfino Island. And given that the island works great as a tourist attraction, it makes sense that some greedy leader saw the economic value of Yoshi's Island and decided to kick them out of it and turn it into this vacation-oriented place with theme parks and beaches and hotels. Who is the perpetrator? I can't tell you for sure. I don't have enough context clues. But what I can tell you is that Browser is not the greatest threat in this world. There's undertones of political corruption in this game, and it's buried under meaningless threats by the likes of Browser. You might have picked up on what I'm saying by now. But in case you're slow, the Yoshis couldn't defend themselves and lost. And that does not work in favor of our question. If the Yoshis couldn't handle the perpetrators of this vile act, then they most certainly would not be able to handle human beings. And the third category confirms this. Much like me, Yoshis are always hungry, kind, and childlike. Their cheerful attitude acts as a double-edged sword, though. It makes them reliable whenever Mario and Luigi needs their assistance as a companion, but their childlike naivety is the reason they got kicked off the land, because they weren't a threat to the invaders. And what makes it even more sad is that in Super Mario World, we see that they possess different abilities, like shooting fire, or floating, or ground shockwave attacks. And yeah, that's sad, because that means that they could have defended themselves, but they didn't. Now you might find my theory a little bit weird. Hold on, let me stitch bugs. My theory goes like this. I'm not sold on what I just said prior to what I'm saying right now. I don't believe that the Yoshis are inherently as kind as they claim to be and appear to be. I go on r/conspiracy theories a lot, and I think they have some hidden motives. I think that Yoshi and the entire race of Yoshis are as loyal as they are to Mario and Luigi because they want to get as close as they can to Princess Peach. They offer a helping hand to the Italian brothers whenever they ask, because that's their ticket to the royalty of the Mushroom Kingdom. Because Peach trusts Mario, and if Mario trusts Yoshi, then Peach will trust Yoshi as well. I think that Yoshi is teaming up with other Yoshis to try and take over the Mushroom Kingdom and undermine its government. This cuteness is alarming, and it's up to no good. To give it to you right away, we published a paper on our verdict on whether Yoshis could dominate the human race to make it understandable for those asking the same question. Even though the species of Yoshis have proven worthy of a place in the hierarchy of stuff, they present little to no threat against human nature. That conclusion is simply based off of a previous encounter between said species and other members of the hierarchy of stuff. Several evidence details have been extracted by the usage of the organ called brain, utilized by Dr. Riduriguriho. Dr. Riduriguriho has mentioned on numerous occasions his successes in utilizing the brain. And in succession to his lifetime of breakthroughs, the streak continues. Yoshi and Yoshis have been considered a threat to the military of Burkina Faso for the better part of a decade, with no tangible clue on whether the military should take steps in understanding the species more. The threat was put on the shelf. Excuse me. It was after the events of the second installment of Super Mario World that we first noticed how big of a threat the species were. The realization was a byproduct of witnessing their union and escorting baby Mario to baby Luigi on their hometown Yoshi's Island. But we later unrealized that fact. With the help of context clues, the Department of Scientific Studies has published a statement that the island, more notably known as Delfino Island, was in fact the aforementioned Yoshi's Island. That statement has brought us as close as ever to an understanding on whether Yoshis are capable creatures. Yoshis, who have proven in more ways how competent they are unexpectedly considered less than human beings. Which in turn means that they are not close to being a threat. The Department of Scientific Studies went the extra mile as to discredit those creatures in the most despicable way we can, and published a newer statement on the current Yoshi's intents Yoshi has been helping the Italian brothers with their good deeds, but because the Department of Scientific Studies are inherently racist, we chose to view Yoshi's help as nothing but evil. With that statement, we're accusing Yoshi of conspiring against the government of the Mushroom Kingdom. We're indicting him and hope to see him unfairly imprisoned as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had fun, because I sure did. Just a small reminder that's hopefully unnecessary. All of this is just a bunch of bullshit. I'm not trying to downplay my video, but I'm just saying that most of my videos are just dumb humor and entertainment. This is not a lore deep dive. It's just some very under-researched dumb game theories. The idea was fun, so I tried to use it effectively with the info I have from playing the couple of games I played. But yeah, I say it again, it's massively under-researched, so don't expect that this is a big lore deep dive or something. Also, this kind of stuff is really fucking fun. For some reason, researching about Yoshi and the Mario world has been infinitely more fulfilling. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it was, than doing university assignments. It's like you're walking this fine line between legitimate research and bullshit, which I really appreciate. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and press that bell to not miss any future similar content. Don't forget to like the video, and while you're here, drop a comment. I reply to every comment, I try. If I can, I will. Most of the time, I can. So yeah, you can say whatever you want in a comment. Tell me your thoughts on the video and on Yoshi, and on whether you've ever thought of eating Yoshi. I'm sure it's not just me. However, see you in the next one.